Well, hey everybody. Hopefully I can get through this video without a bunch of interruptions. We have a thunder and lightning storm going on right now. We have the world's worst landscape maintenance company whose tractor is backfiring and broke down going through our development, cutting hay because it's been so long since they've been here. I don't know what the problem is. The homeowners association is fighting with the owners group and it's a mess. Anyways, if I get interrupted or if you hear some things in the background, you'll know that that's already going on. So today I'm going to talk about this guitar. This is an Epiphone Les Paul Special P90 in matte black. And it's an interesting guitar, and there's a reason I bought it. I've done a video on my Gibson SG P90 50s tribute guitar, which is a guitar that I've really fallen in love with lately. But I had been wanting to do a P90 upgrade project, and I kind of wanted to check out the bottom end of P90s. I've had a ton of cheap Strat copies, cheap Tele copies, high-end Strats, high-end Teles, a lot of guitars with humbuckers that ran the gamut from, basic Chinese humbuckers all the way up through Seymour Duncans and Dirty Fingers and all kinds of stuff. So my idea was I wanted to check out these pickups, and I thought, well, if I'm going to buy an inexpensive set of P90 pickups, why not buy an inexpensive guitar that's got P90s in it, and then I'll have a mod platform to go with it. So that's how I ended up with this guitar. I got it at Guitar Center a couple of weeks ago. It's probably been 6 or 8 weeks ago now. I paid $95 plus $25 shipping plus tax. I think the whole deal, actually it was less than that because the whole deal was like $121, picked up at the store. And it said online, good condition, but it's actually, physically, it's in great condition. I have a feeling that I know the reason they said good condition. It's interesting because I also have an Epiphone Les Paul P90, a Les Paul Special P90 TV yellow guitar that's newer. They're both made in China. But this one has a plate on the back that says, this is a 2016, it says, Epiphone performance is our passion, a part of the Gibson family of brands. And so I thought that was kind of a nice little neck plate. The other one, which is newer, does not have that. So, it's kind of cool to have that, especially on an extremely inexpensive guitar. You can probably hear the lawnmower guy coming by. Holy cow, they're a mess. I'll have to see how it sounds on the playback before I post this video. If it's too loud, then I'll probably have to redo it. But I got this guitar, took it out of the box and started playing it, and it sounded good and it was easy to play. The neck was comfortable and straight. Didn't have any problem with it, and actually it was probably about the time I decided I want to lower the action a little, that I also noticed it had an output jack problem. And the tuners, after tuning it a few times, were so sloppy that it's really hard to get them in tune. So at this price point, you're going to get some garbage. The good thing is that I wouldn't buy this if I were a starter guitar player, unless you had somebody go through it. And then by the time you do that, you're into the next level of guitar, and you shouldn't just buy a cheap piece of, junk like this. Oh, here goes some lightning. So, anyways, the tuners have to be replaced. I was able to correct the problem with the output jack. And one thing I've never understood about Gibson is how much does it cost to make a metal plate instead of a plastic plate? Because even on old Les Pauls, I had an old Les Paul years ago and it had a cracked plastic plate. It's like, it's such a bad design. And what was wrong with the output jack was it just, the tab that holds the lead on the cord just needed to be bent a little bit, you know. And it doesn't look like a bad quality jack. It's just, you know, it was one of those quality control issues that somebody probably just didn't check. But the major issue was when I went to adjust the bridge, these screws that go into the body, into the insert that's in there, were so tight that even after taking off the strings and I have a brake adjustment tool. It's got a big wide blade on it, and you can do it sideways, so you're not, you know, cranking on a thing with a screwdriver. Because I hate to booger up these screws like a lot of people do, and a lot of guitars you see, they're messed up. It's like, well, if it's that hard to turn the screw, either get the right tool or lubricate it or do something. But with these, there was no fixing it. I mean, these things were just way too tight for the, you know, the threads were not fitted properly. And then this had the wrap tailpiece, intonated wrap tailpiece. Oh, here comes the lawn guys again. What a menagerie it is around here today. And the worst part about this wrap tailpiece, besides the fact that it broke as I was trying to get it off the screws, was that it's so poorly made that I couldn't get the high E string out of a groove that had been cut in the back where it wrapped over the tailpiece. I'm sure it's aluminum, I'm sure it's soft as can be, but I cannot imagine every one of these strings left an indentation where they wrapped over this. So this thing is garbage, and one of the tabs broke off when I was, because it was so tight around the screws, and the screws were the wrong size. I tapped on it and it just broke in pieces. I tapped on it with a little rubber mallet and just, you know, cracked and fell apart. I mean, really, really junk. The tuner's really, really junk. However, all that being said, the P90s sound beautiful in this guitar, and it's like, and the neck is really nice, and the control that you have with just one volume, one tone, and a three-way switch actually works pretty well on this guitar. So here come the lawnmower guys again, and thunder and lightning in the background. So I probably could have waited till later, but I'm right in the middle of trying to get a load of stuff loaded up to take up to our house in Georgia. We're trying to get anything that we have here that's that we like up there before hurricane season. With everything that's happened hurricane season wise, and us being 1,000 feet from the Indian River lagoon, there's a chance that if a hurricane comes through here, this is the closest we've ever lived to the water. We just don't want to be in a situation where I have to worry about it. My guitars, some artwork that we have, and some things that my wife has are all going up there. So it's been packing and loading day to day. We're actually making the trip tomorrow. I went through three trucks personally, three pickup trucks that I owned, a 2014 Chevy Silverado that had 3 Jasper warranty transmissions, and finally after the third one they determined it was probably an electrical problem. They couldn't get it fixed, and I just said to hell with it. Took a huge loss after paying for a $4,000 transmission and traded it for less than what I paid for the transmission just to get out of it because I was so sick of dealing with it. Picked up a used truck because I didn't want to spring for a new truck. Got it home. It needed some work. I spent $2,000 on that, so I had about $10,000 in that truck, and went up to Georgia last week, and it died on the way home. Basically burnt the engine. Went out and bought a new F-150. I said, that's it, I'm done. But it's been, the ride from hell. So it put us behind on our schedule. My wife's got some work stuff she's got to start on Monday, and we've got to get some equipment moved before that happens. So we're scrambling, but she's working right now. Gets off early today, and I'm taking a break, so that's why I decided to make this video in spite of, there goes lightning and thunder, in spite of everything. But so what I did was I replaced the bridge with this Wilkinson adjustable bridge. It was pretty inexpensive. It was $19. It came with the inserts, the screws, the bridge, and it's got intonatable saddles, and it's also got the Allen screws on the back of the bridge to move the entire bridge, which I ended up having to do to get it intonated because
Unfortunately, from a design perspective, it's got little teeny tiny Phillips screws on the side that faces the pickup to
make adjustments in the intonation, and honestly, there's no way to do it. You have to take the strings off.
And I mean, I don't know what other kind of tool you could have, but
It's got to be a really, really well built small screwdriver, or you're not going to get it in those slots, those Phillips slots, and be able to adjust it. So, was able to get the intonation pretty well set by just using the Allen screws on the back to move the entire bridge, because when it came, they were set up almost exactly the same way that the slots are cut, or the topography is on this fixed wrap tail piece. So now it's raining really hard. It's just one of those days. Anyways, so this guitar is, it's just an interesting guitar, and I don't think I'm going to do anything. A buddy of mine, the Guitar Professionals, that's their YouTube channel name. He's out of Chicago. Just a sweetheart of a guy, just an awesome human being, and he's got a love of music that honestly reminds me of my best friend for most of my life. Just eclectic taste, just really, really likes stuff that I was never exposed to. So a lot of the music he does it's like the first time I've heard it, and he just really has a passion for it. But he had a set of, I want to say they were DiMarzio pickups that he was adapting one of his guitars with P90s with, and it was a set of pickups I had heard about, and that was what I originally had planned for this guitar. That's probably not going to happen because I like these so much, and the guitar plays really, really well now that I've done everything. After I put new tuners on, after I get this bridge completely set up, everything else is good and ready to go. It's nice and light, but it's not too light. I'm going to leave it alone. However, on my TV Yellow P90, I may swap those pickups out. So when that happens, I'll probably do a video on the before and after sound, if I can, again, figure out how to do a little bit of video splicing, which is something I want to try and accomplish this year. So anyways, that's just a quick overview of this guitar, the good and the bad. And once I spend a few dollars on it, I don't have to spend a lot on tuners to get them better than this, because these are the worst things I've ever seen. Like I said, this bridge was only $19, and it's well made, and it intonates well. I mean, it's Wilkinson M series, which I think is for a company that distributes them. It's probably the Chinese one. It's probably not American made, but or British made, but I think it'll do the job, especially for a guitar in this price range. So anyways, that's the video for today. The next video I'll do with this guitar is a sound sample, and I am impressed by the sound. I mean, I'm just amazed at as inexpensive as this thing is. And that's kind of what I wanted to find out. Is it part of the design of a P90, or is it the quality of the P90? Lightning again, I think it's probably on the screen. That gives it that sound. This is the third or fourth guitar I've played with P90s that I've owned, and I think it's the P90. Actually, the Gibson Les Paul Special that I had years ago that I kind of talked about in my video when I was doing the SG P90 guitar. One of the listeners or watchers on my channel reminded me that those were P100s, which are really a humbucker that's made to look like a P90, and that may be why I never liked that guitar as much as I like these actual P90s. So as more time goes by, I'll get more familiar with them, and we'll do some more sound samples. But definitely the next sample I do on this, or the next video I do for this guitar, is going to be a sound sample. It would be interesting to compare it side by side with my SG P90. I think people would be astounded, and I think blindfolded it would be real hard to tell the difference, because these things have that real nice low volume breakup where it doesn't take much to get them to get a little bit of distortion or crackling. I mean, just a beautiful sound. And again, in the price point, I can understand how they get to that price point with the bolt-on neck, the crappy tuners, the crappy output jack setup, the bridge that fell apart. But the rest of the guitars, it's good bones for that money to be able to, get something like this. And like I said, and have said in a lot of videos, I'm all about the sound and the playability. The rest of it, the aesthetics, the collectability, the dollar value, it's got a bolt-on neck instead of a glued-in neck. Well, so do all my Fender guitars, and that doesn't seem to affect them at all in a negative way. So, anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll be back with a sound sample later.